Well, good morning, and today is Tuesday, Transformation, and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. You're here with us, and we are connected to you. We are here live, and don't forget that our podcast direct connect is 661-503-8993. You can use that for the purpose of texting, voicemail, and direct connect personally. Keep in mind that we see you. We are not going to in any way ignore you. We want you to know how much you mean to our program. So we're asking to be patient with us. We talk about the relevant to our emotion and the way we're feeling. So if you want, stick with our program. Today's program is inspired for your change, for the better of you, and change for the better of yourself. Better than you were the day before. Good morning, Trish, my co-host.
Good morning.
What are you all thankful for? I'll start with me. I'm thankful for having a vehicle that I was not expecting to get, but here it is, and I owe it to none more than my Creator, Jehovah God. So thankful for this vehicle. Was for a long time without one due to someone hitting my car. Good morning, David. Good morning, and welcome to our program. What are you all thankful for, Trish?
I am thankful for my brother doing well. He passed his test in the military, so I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for him doing well.
Okay. And we celebrate anyone that is striving for the betterment of themselves. So if you are taking tests anywhere, we celebrate your passing that test. Gosh, I hate tests. Does anyone around here hate tests? Oh my goodness, especially time tests. Do you hate tests? I don't like to feel pressure. That's the thing I don't like about tests. Why do you hate tests, Trish?
Because I'm an overthinker and I second guess myself a lot when I take tests.
Do you really? See, I stress because more adult tests, like when I was teaching, a lot of tests were involved. And you want to pass these tests, and they're timed, and I'm thinking about, okay, how much time do I really have left? Because I spent so much time on one thing or something that I knew better than something I knew more of than I did better with. and lack of time. So if you kids are out there and you're having time tests, it's going to be okay. Do what you know. Do the best that you can. That is my encouragement for today. I'm looking forward to today. And how was everybody's weekend? Everybody had a good weekend? Not have a good weekend? Good morning to Ash. Good morning. We do see you. We acknowledge you. Um, we're going to be talking about power. Power to embrace your power. And we have a lot to say this morning. We have a lot to say. So I am looking forward to this conversation and how it develops. The thing that I love about Vibe Talk is looking at the outcome of how our conversation develops. When I took a class a while back, uh, I love the conversations. And when you sit back and you listen to how it develops or what transpires in a conversation, you can walk away always with something. And that's actually part of impact and influence. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to be talking about your power, how to use it, and how do we embrace what we have? Or even this thought, did you even know that you owned power? You see a powerful person and you say, what? Gosh, I wish I had that. Gosh, that person is so powerful. Well, what makes them powerful? Stay tuned as we get into this inspiration. I know my worth. I embrace my power. I say if I'm beautiful. I say if I'm strong. You, as in others, will not determine my story. You will have the power to determine your own power. We're going to get right back at you after this message. Cause we're Vibetalkfacingthelionpodcast. So check your favorite streaming platforms. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your story. Like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot. We're back. And I am thankful also for Trish on Friday. How many of you got to hear Trish be here and actually host our show? What a treat. Trish, you did very well. And thank you. Had a flu bug and just was not feeling well. Starting this week out, right? Taking care of ourselves. And if you are out there sick, please take care of yourself. I didn't see that flu coming. My grandbaby was doing a lot of coughing because he's in a little daycare school. And I always get it, even when I was teaching. I always got what the little ones had. So take care of yourself if you're out there. It's almost May, and there are going to be graduates everywhere. Can you believe it? It's almost the end of the school year for some. And we say, congratulations. You did it. If you have a graduate, we'd like to personally get a list from you. If you are a listener, let us know that your child is graduating, and we'd like to give them a personal shout out. That means so much to me here, to see one's graduating. We don't care if it's from preschool. We don't care if it's from certified school, nursing school, police academy, wherever you're graduating this year. Please let us know. We have our direct connect, 503-8993. Get with us so that we can create our graduating class of 2024. It just seems like we were here last time doing this, and time flies by so fast, doesn't it? So now, personal power. How many of you recognize your personal power? Anybody? How many of you actually knew that you have personal power? Anybody?
I do.
Personal. And you want to explain? Go ahead, Trish.
My personal power, well, I see power in this situation as impact. My personal impact, I feel like I'm a very positive person. That's powerful, and I'm very sincere. That's something that I have, and I use that when people want to talk to me or need somebody to talk to, and that's how I feel like people feel when they have conversations and they need somebody to have a meaningful conversation with. They need somebody that's sincere and that can listen to them, and that's a big power to have and use it wisely.
Identification of power. It's going to be good today because it's going to help you to understand that your power cannot be taken away from you. That is, of course, if you allow it. But you are powerful. Please become aware of that. And it is not some uncanny power, not some magical power. You are powerful because in your house where you live, your brain possesses power. Your brain is able to function to tell your body what to do. It recalls every moment and reminder of what to do. Like blink. Blinking is something that we do without even thinking about it. You probably just blinked as we spoke in these few seconds. When you stand up because you are tired or restless or bones ache or back ache, your brain tells your body function what to do. Powerful, you say? Wow. And remembrance. Your brain recalls memories, logs and logs and logs of memories, so much so that a single library could not withhold all of your human life's memory. Powerful indeed, you say. So now let's look at ourselves. What are we doing with our inborn power? we see powerful people, right? We can name a few powerful people, and we label them as powerful. Why? Why are we labeling people as powerful? Could it be money? We say they're rich. So rich is powerful. That may be a form of it. And we say, wow, they've impacted every life that they've touched. One single human, she or he is powerful. Others are powerful because they rule with an iron fist. Get it done, or else. But now, we're going to bring it down and talk about your power. Are you aware of your real self? As in your authentic self? I love this quote. Power is possessed by those who claim it, by those who cry, I am. For the beginning of power comes from the rejection of powerlessness. The rejection of powerlessness is but a step toward your identity, your awakening to love yourself, to be with you and understanding yourself. Everybody got that? So when you think of power in yourselves, you may lack power, so it seems. You may feel not so powerful, but you have it. You have it. And no truer expression is there other than the one that you will come to know when you are aware of who and what you are. You will be able to gain consciousness of who and what you are to your fullest potential without fear. You see, because fear comes from what? Our own limitations, our own struggles, our own dangers that we have experienced them. But now you look at yourself in that you are a powerful human, and we're staying down here on the earth, not in comparison to our Creator. No one is more powerful than the Creator himself. We are not in comparison to that. We're staying on level ground. We're talking about your personal power. You know, we get ourselves in situations. How many of us have gotten ourselves into situations where we have absolute powerlessness? You know who you are. They know who they are. We're going to hold up 5 fingers. Are you ready? If you have ever been in an abusive situation, I want you to put 1 finger down. If you have ever felt victimized, I want you to put 1 finger down. If you have ever been violated, I would like you to put one finger down. If you have ever been unsupported, I want you to put one finger down. If you have ever been unloved by anyone, listen to this, I want you to put one finger down. Now here's the clincher. How many fingers are you holding up still? Anybody?
3.
You're still holding up 3? That's your power. You see, because if you've done what I've asked you to do, if all 5 fingers are down, then you are completely with no power. You know, even in the times of darkness, when it comes to natural light, people have had to be in the dark for one reason or another. Natural disaster, uh, lack of electricity, and yet they have survived. I remember a neighbor, or a friend, I should say, because they were friends with me, and they didn't have electricity. Let's not judge because we don't know the reason. I do, but you don't. And did they just assume that they would exist with no power because of their situation? No, they got connection to what is energy, what is light, what is power. And they were able to run their cords from one neighbor to another. They remained powerful. How are you doing in that? And Trish, what 3 fingers did you still have up? I'm just curious if you want to pass or play.
I don't remember, but I know the 2 fingers that I have down. I remember that.
Okay.
But
Which
but
ones?
say that again.
Which ones were they? If you care to talk about it.
Yeah, the 2 fingers I have down was the lack of support and violation.
Okay. And how did that make you feel? What's your experience with that?
Um, it made me feel like I didn't have. Well, when I thought of it, when I put the fingers down, I felt like, oh, this is the first time I actually talked about it because I don't talk about a certain situation like it's a secret, but I don't talk about it. But I felt vulnerable, just and power for just speaking up and just putting my fingers down. That's something for me. That's like at least saying a piece that I never said, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. For you that don't understand it, get with me. We'll talk about it. By the way, this is being recorded for your purpose. This is being recorded for legal purpose. And it's also being recorded for education purpose. We are no doctors. I am a life coach, certifiably and professionally. I have been trained. So, people want power. People place power on things. I'm going to say a couple of names. Oprah, Tommy Hilfiger, have I spoke into power? Why do we associate that with power? Can anybody guess? The list goes on and on and on and on. Well, Oprah has lots of money. But if you didn't know her, how would you know that? Because she has influenced so many people. Tommy Hilfiger, famous designer. You may or may not wear his labeled clothing, but you know him. And you say, he has power. That dude has a lot of money. Now, when we think about someone's power, what really makes them? Is it their impact on others? Or is it the fact that they do have money? Or could it be both? You see, the power that we have is not the power that I'm talking that hurts others. See, there are many people with power that have used their power to influence others for the good. And I use those two examples because they're very influential and they have done a lot of good. So when we think about power, how are we doing? Are we able to use our energy that connects and flows? We'll call it ebb and flows throughout our human bodies. How are we using our power? Or are we the people that when we talk about being violated, being abused, being not supported, are we using that type of power, to misuse what we know can hurt another person? Are you willing to step on another person to get noticed? How are we doing, and do we know people like this? Or are we empowered by people that have touched our lives and we have touched theirs? How many of you noticed that the word changed from power to empowering? Empower. I-N, then the next word, P-O-W-E-R. And then we have M, E-M-P-O-W-E-R. Empower. People that you are influencing for the better of themselves. Even being influenced for the better of yourself. Empower or empower? Which are you? Because in order for you to understand that, you must embrace accepting yourself. We're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen, after this quick message. Be right back. I hope. We are Vibe Talk After Dark. new radio station is with me, your host, on Saturday nights. Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. The smooth, chill radio. What can I play for you? We're back. So, how do we feel about being empowered? Having the type of power that connects you to yourself. How do you all feel about having this type of power? You see, we can't misuse this power because this power has been us all along. We're just acknowledging it. We're just facing it. This is the kind of power that helps you and I understand and be aware. Did you know that your power is not dead? It is well alive. It flows throughout you, your mind and body system, and it is able to help others embrace who you are as well as yourself. When you are empowered, there is change that comes. Empowered, EMPOWER, empower. You are not only acceptant of yourself, but you are acceptant of who you are to be. You are looking ahead. You are refusing negative talk. We all do it, right? See, we're in power of the things that we say. You know, like the brain tells the body when to wake up. In most cases, if you're living, if you're here, if you're listening, you've been told to, by your body, your mind, your memory, to do what you have to do to get through the day. Well, that is awareness and acceptance. Somehow we just can't seem to overcome the fact that our being empowered means the dismissal of ourselves, or does it? See, when we're empowered, we accept even the things we don't like about ourselves. Why do we do that? Why must we do that? In order to change it. We must accept that there is something about us that we must change. How many of us realize that? Or are we still in the keys of the caterpillar stage where we don't really understand what is happening? And so therefore we refuse to change because it is uncomfortable. We want to be better versions of ourselves. Things take time to change. And once we think about the empowering that we have on others, Once you and I practice accepting ourselves as we are and being willing to work on what we would like to become, we are showing a response to the change. We're awakened to awareness. That's the word I was looking for. We're awakened to awareness of acceptance of ourselves. All things must be awakened to awareness. If you are, like we did the 5-finger thing, if we are awakened to these things, what are we going to do that has changed it? If it's in the past, hasn't empowered us to be better than what we were. We want to be able to take our transitioning moments and change them into causes. We want to take our transition and change them for the better. And then once we change our transition and empower ourselves with positive thoughts, we're able to talk about our feelings, why we feel about how we feel. Does that make sense? We want to talk about why we feel about how we feel. I believe it was you, Trish, that talked about discussing things that you may never have talked about. See, we do that because some of us may feel fear of rejection. Some of us may feel fear that we're being judged. But now, if you are able to trust your feelings and say, I don't talk about these things because I'm uncomfortable. See how that works? Instead of saying, and I'm saying for anyone, instead of saying, I don't talk about those things because they make others uncomfortable. What's the difference? See, well, one is that we can either empower ourselves or not. We can say we don't talk about those things because they make me feel uncomfortable. See, that's a feeling, and you've labeled it. And when we recognize and we're awakened to that awareness, you know what we start to do? We start to think about, why is that even important to us to think about how they make others feel? Because there are feelings, right? If we're feeling afraid of something, let's claim that. That's power. Let's be able to say why we feel a certain way. We need to embrace our cause. Remember the butterfly hug that we learned some time ago? Do you remember that, Trish?
I don't recall it.
Where we took our hands, we held our hands to our face, we crossed our hands as if we were going to fly a butterfly, we put them over our shoulder, and we patted ourselves. One wing, two wings at a time. Everybody get that? If you are doing that right now, that is embracing yourself with a butterfly hug. One more time. Both hands, cross them as if they were going in front of each other. We're in a crossed position. One hand goes to your left shoulder, one hand to your right, as if you were in a butterfly position and you are embracing yourself. Did you get that, Trish?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Butterfly hugging means acceptance of you. If nobody hugged you today, you were the first person that hugged you. And for some of you, that might be very true. Because sometimes we give people power. We let people in power, INPOWER. Now we're talking about us with how they feel. If nobody hugged us today, we walk around sulking, face saddened. Nobody hugged me today. That's depressing. So what do we speak into ourselves? Butterfly hugging. Take it very seriously. Because if I would have had a question about anybody hugging you, has anybody hugged you? If nobody's hugged you today, you would have put your finger down. But because you hugged you today is a reminder of you fusing power into yourself. Some of us don't want to do it. Do you remember how I told you about the friend of mine that needed to uh, use electricity? Now, if she had sat there in the darkness, she couldn't have had anything done, right? But she used her wisdom power to be able to infuse the physical power that she needed to empower herself to get things done. Does everybody see how that works? Now, our power of love. If you've ever felt unloved at some point, in some circumstances, in some scenarios in your lifetime. And let's not be so deep with this because, some of us can feel unloved by our pets. If your pet sees you're in a bad mood, they might react to that bad mood. If you're yelling at that pet, they might bark back or meow back. So let's think about the power of love. You say, nobody loves me. Not even my cats or my dogs. Because there are some people out there like that. And we don't make light of any situation. But now I want you to infuse yourself with returning to who you are. I want you to look inside of yourself. I want you to know that there's always your butterfly wings. How do I know that? Because you had the power to cross your hands over and to hug yourself in that position. Um, we will practice that at our next meeting, Trish, you and myself, so that we are more familiar with this. It's nice to hear I love yous, right? How many of us are empowering ourselves with, wow, I love how I did that. See, because we feed off of others. Naturally, our human makeup is to thrive off of other humans. Yes, we do that. But now, how many of us can really be proud of ourselves for a project, for a work assignment, for just getting up and facing the day? Even if you needed that first coffee or tea, you've done that. How many of us say, geez, I love the way that came out. Do more of that because that empowers you. EMPOWER. I want you to think about that. Why? Because you can and you will. See, we say, nobody's loved me, nobody supported me. How many times are we supporting ourselves? Let's embrace empowering. To put the power and the energy back into ourselves. We're going to be right back. We are moving along. Stay with us, please. And thank you for coming right back.
Podcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your stories. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and Mixed We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot.
We're back, and thank you so much for your being with us on this Transformation Tuesday. By the way, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you, Trish, for making it possible for the YouTube channel. We see you guys looking at us. Thank you so much. Now that we're talking about empowering, how do you feel? What does it mean to you to own your power of life? To put that back in your life. You know, we see through the superhero theory that you've heard me give or talk about, each superhero has their own special powers. In life, you have something about yourself that makes you unique. And therein lies a superhero within you. Think about the people of power. Maybe they're the unknowns. Maybe they're just simply people that you know and I don't know, and vice versa. Maybe they're not the Oprahs. Maybe they're not the Tommy Hill figures. Maybe they're not the Maya Angelos, Stevie Wonders, Ellen DeGeneres. But they are people of empowerment. People who have fused into you impact. Why have they done that? Have they impacted you enough to take your personal power and be able to generate from that source influence on others in the right way? Because there are people who are powerful people, but they aren't the greatest people. We don't have a list for that. So, owning your power. When you own your power, you are allowing yourself to be creative, innovative, You're allowing yourself to stand up for yourself. You're allowing yourself to demonstrate the strengths and abilities and the capabilities that you have. That, ladies and gentlemen, takes true power. Trish talked about vulnerable. Love that word, Trish. When you are vulnerable, when you are open, a lot of times here in Vibe Talk, in group workshop, people come, people are a part of our live audience, and you know what happens? At first they feel vulnerable, but when they hear us talk, they begin to start talking. Maybe they have never shared anything, any emotions or their deep feelings, or let anybody know what has happened to them in their life's experience. But don't we learn from others, ladies and gentlemen? How many people have you actually learned from? Right? If you put 5 fingers up again, if you've learned from your mom, I want you to put your 1 finger down. You've been asked to hold up 5. If you've learned from your dad, if you've learned from your teacher, your workmate, your friends, how many fingers did you still have held up?
1.
Okay. And what was that on, Trish?
Workmate.
Workmate. Okay. So Trish, you had that up. Why?
Because I never had a workmate before.
Aren't you working now?
Oh, well, there's that time.
I'm glad she doesn't consider me as a workmate, because we are friends. We learn from each other. You see how empowerment is? We were talking about EMPOWER. We look up to our moms and our dads as we grow and develop, because we only know them. They're the first 2 people that we've ever met in our life. But from that time on, ladies and gentlemen, there will be people throughout your lifetime that will empower you. EMPOWER. I want you to understand these 2 words. Empower and empower. Understand them. There is a difference. I want you to own your own power, because you see, we're influenced by our moms and our dads as they help us through our growth stages. From the very beginning of life, we learn from them. But see, we go on. You know, that first day of school when they take us to school, that's them introducing us to new empowerments. And then what happens is you say, I love my teacher. If any parent has ever had this happen to you, you're in a good space. Because one day your 5-year-old, your 4-year-old is going to come home and they're going to say, I love my teacher. And how are you going to feel? We know you feel rejected, dejected, but don't. Because here's why. Your child is being empowered by that teacher. I had a teacher. She's still living. My teacher, my favorite teacher, was my kindergarten teacher, Miss Cash. I got to see Miss Cash in my older age of 50 years old, and as I looked upon her gracefully aging, I began to know why I loved that teacher the way I did. Because you see, she empowered me to become the young lady that I am. She believed in me and knew that I said I would become someone, something, someday. So if your child is being influenced in that way by a great teacher and they still remember those teachers after all those years, teachers, you have done your job, including myself. Still have people that have come up to me and said, I remember when you were my teacher. Hmm. That makes you feel like you've impacted them. But your personal power, your being able to transcend from that into whom you are now, please know that you have power. Through all your vulnerabilities, never lose your power. You have the ability to be able to do that without anyone telling you to step into your power. You know, you have people, I had a friend, and he's no longer living. And I would laugh because here's what he would do. No matter where we were, he would say, step into my office. And as I look back on that, he was a person I looked up to. But more importantly, did I look into him because he was a person that affected my life and impacted me in such a way. He never thought that he was bigger than what he was, but his office could be anywhere. And when he asked you to step into his office, you never questioned, well, where is your office? You just went and followed his lead. His office could have been on the park bench, in the car, outside on the steps. Literally, I had this happen to me. I was influenced in a great way by this person. See, he didn't have any name on the biggest and tallest building, not even on a gold building, no, not even on a tent. But because he was impactful to my life and to my children's life, he was powerful. Are there people like that in your lives? We ask you today, as my friend asked me, to step into his office. Step in to your personal power. Are you now looking around? Could that be you that is looking around to find your personal power? It is right here in front of you. If you had stepped into it any closer, it might have bitten you in the face. Awaken people. Acknowledge. What do you want? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? Your values, your beliefs. Oh, but no, you're still allowing that negative self talk stops you from stepping into your personal power. Here's what I want you to do. You know, we say, stop the negative. Oh no, I want you to listen to the negative voices that tell you you can't, you won't, you're unworthy, you don't deserve it. Do you know why? Because now I want you human powerful soul, to be able to say, aha, I can label the unworthy. Why? How? Where did that begin? I can label you're not good enough, or I'm not good enough. I can now label that. I want you to listen to that, to answer in your power. Why, how, and when. You see, the more that you listen to that, the more that you gain awareness and consciousness of it. You ever have something to wake you up? How about this? Ever had a house that was just smoky because someone left something on the stove? How many of you have awakened from something like that?
I have.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
I woke up and I was scared. I was like, what's happening? Is the house burning down?
You started to think, why is this happening, right? What and why? You just said that, right? And then
Yes.
did you just go back to sleep and say, oh, never mind?
No.
Yeah. What did you do?
I got up to go check on it.
Ah, yes. Bullseye. Checking into ourselves. Why we're feeling what we're feeling. Good morning, and thank you for joining our live Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Crocodile, good morning. And where are you listening in from, please and thank you? We're talking about knowing your power. So you wake up and you do something about it. Did everybody catch that? Do something about stepping into your own personal power. You're not going to wait for someone else to check on it. You're going to check on it to find out why, what, how, and when. What's happening? See, we, by our own powerful brains, instinctively are cognizant. However we use it is how we will use it. How are you going to use your cognizant development to snap you into awareness? See, self-awareness is power. When you stop, remember, like I said about the negative, I was always a person that says, stop the negative. Well, yeah, you do need to not listen to it after a while, but you need to ask yourself why. As you listen to that, because I realize that many of you, like myself, have listened to it and listened to it. You start listening to it so much that you start believing it. Why? Who told you you were not deserving? Who told you that you were unworthy? Who told you that you couldn't do it even if you tried? You see, we must ask ourselves why, what, how, where, and who. We need to think about those facets of life. Hold your hands up again. 1, how, what, when, why, and where. See how the 5 fingers do? You'll never look at those again the same way. So we want you to be careful with your listening, and we only want you to listen to acknowledge what your powerful brain tells you. We want you to listen so as to label with self-awareness with the 5 questions. How, what, where, when, who. Think about that. Stand up for yourself. Advocate for yourself. For many years, I have been advocate for children because they were young. They weren't without a voice. They were not empowered to speak or stand up for themselves. So someone had to teach them how. So I advocated for many years professionally. I want you to know how to use your voice. Value what you see about yourself. Visualize. Give yourself those butterfly hugs. I want you to step into your personal power. More importantly, if you don't know how, ask for help. See, it doesn't make you powerless when you ask for help. It makes you powerful. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, if you will, Oprah, asking Gayle King for help? Why does that seem so out of the ordinary? Because you say Oprah is a powerful person. But remember, Oprah's best friend is Gayle. So you go to your friends and you ask for help when it is needed. They're both now successful, strong, powerful people. Speak up. A lot of times, Trish and I, we meet on Wednesday or Thursday for our meetings. And this is a time for us to share our ideas. It's not a one-woman show. Trisha's my co-host. She speaks up, shares her thoughts, her ideas. When you don't speak up, you are not owning the power of your intelligence. Speak up. People are afraid to speak up because they feel fear, that word fear. But now I want you to think about how many people value your thoughts. Do you value your thoughts? And I don't mean that in a negative manner. How do you feel about your thoughts? Acknowledging your fear, everybody can do that. They can say, what is their fear? We want you to be able to label your fears. We all have them, and we all can become very overwhelmed, and sometimes it can paralyze us from the power that we need to own. I say to you today, face your fears. Face them. When you don't allow this fear, or when you allow it, I should say, to cripple you, to paralyze you, stop you dead in your tracks. You become powerless. I want you to become powerful. Think about that. If you don't have a supportive network, start here. We talk about mindsetting, how we do it. Listen and learn from others. We have that concept here at Vibe Talk. That's why we have an open podcast. It would be boring if you sat here every day and listened to us. Now, there are some podcasts on our YouTube that you have yet to listen to. But we know you'll get there because you're in our playground once you go see us, and that we do have that. We're not worried because we know that you're listening. Why am I saying this? Because when you listen to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, you learn something. Even through our music radio show, you're learning something through music. People speak what they feel through their music. And let's listen so that we can gain personal growth and power. We're going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures. We're going to take a moment and be right back. And thank you for joining us.
Facing the Lion podcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your stories. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot.
We're back. I'm going to turn it over to Trisha's Treasures. Trish?
When I think of power, the first thing that came into my mind was superheroes. And the fact that you said that, it was like, yeah, okay, it's confirmed. And we all know that superheroes, right? They have these powers that we wish we had. Like, I wish I had the webs that Spider-Man has, you know, to get where I need to go. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need a car. But I don't have that. But what I love about it, though, right, is they show that he's not just Spider-Man with the webs. He's also Peter Parker. He's human, just like us. And he has stuff going on in high school. He's going through getting bullied in high school, and he's this smart kid, and people don't like him like that. And also, he works for the press. That's also identical to Clark Kent, you know. But Clark Kent, he's also Superman, but he has his own things going on too. He has a relationship. There's a lot of things going on, and what they do with their power is also important. It's like they could have chose a whole different path with their powers. I think that we don't think about that very often with these superheroes. Like, they could have chose a whole different path with their power. And it's tempting because we see it sometimes when they fight. They want to go too far because they get so emotional and they lose their self-control. But they bring it back with their power of self-control. That takes a lot of power too, to have self-control, to control the power that you have. And they show us that I choose good over evil. I choose the right way instead of the worst case scenario. Even though it's tempting, I choose the right way, the most reasonable way. And that's a lesson for us in the real world, where we could choose the worst way to react and to lose our control and to lose our balance and sanity. But we have the incredible minds that we have to have self-control. And it's hard because we get emotional, and that's normal. But how we react is another. We can't control what the other person says to us, but we can control how we react. And the way we react in certain situations, it impacts other people. It empowers other people. Just in case they go through a certain situation, they're like, oh, I see how she reacted to that. I can learn something from that. Or they're like, okay, let me try approaching this person in a more calm, respectful way instead of coming to them in a very disrespectful way. Like, I see how it's going to turn out. If she did it like that, let me try it. We impact people with the way we react, and we don't realize that our actions impact others and they empower others. Our empowerment motivates other people, and we can reflect that on ourselves. It's like how we react to our own personal emotions. Can we hold ourselves back from reacting? Are we going to use our wisdom and our power to impact people the right way? And that makes us our own superhero when we choose the reasonable and healthy way to react and good self-control, and just learn to practice the power you have, because it's in you. It's in everyone. We're all on ground level. It's in everyone. It is not beyond you. It's not beyond me. We just have to embrace it and show determination to build in our power and be empowering.
So Trisha's Treasure is part of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. I want you guys, please, to go check her out. And she's on YouTube. We're so honored to have her. Thank you for that, Trish. Last but not least, foremost, take care of you. Stand in your power. Be willing to show that you are powerfully beautiful in word and deed. Show that you are powerfully strong. Be determined to be strong, embracing your power. We want to thank you all. We hope that this challenges you more to be able to find and know your truth while you embrace yourself. We will be able to access all of you once you get connected to us. We are still doing the workshops, the group workshops. We're still doing the one-on-ones. Anytime you want that, it is up to you. The only thing that I ask is you will be meeting with me one-on-one is that you all have a video. That way you know that it's the real thing. You can comment. You can interact. These are great exercises. I like to have more intense exercises, but even the smaller ones. What did you think about the 5-finger one, Trish? What'd you say?
I said I really loved it.
Okay. We're going to do some practice with that at our meeting. We do meet, guys, Trish and myself, to talk about what we want to bring you more of. So we'll talk about that and how it makes sense. Comment away. The videos are always recorded for you. You can call us all through the week. Leave us with um, how you feel. If you were looking for our Vibe Talk After Dark last Saturday, we were not on. But we do have country music for you. And I have chosen, Trish and I, country love songs. Yeah, and you're going to be hearing that this week. And then we're going to be celebrating soundtracks. So if you want to get involved with that, if you want to call in and dedicate a song from a movie, go ahead and do that. I have one, but we want to make it all about you guys, okay? Go check out our website, our web pages. You can hashtag us. We are now branded, and it has taken much, much work. Again, Trish, I thank you for being such a big part of our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Today is Transformation Tuesday. I wish for you to challenge your embracing yourselves. Take care, everybody, and thank you.
I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want to think about. I was really about to lose it, then I got the vibe with it. I really took my time with it. I really loved the ride with it. 3 years, really got the vibe with it. I took my time with it. I really loved the ride with it. You can really see I'm better you. When you get the vibe with it, yeah. When you